It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 230. Can you believe it? We've been around just as long as the MCU has been around, it feels like. And as always, I am Matt. With me is Lauren. Today, we are going to be talking about the Easter eggs and other nods to other movies, comic books that we have seen in Deadpool and Wolverine, because we just couldn't do one episode on Deadpool and Wolverine. We're like, you know what? There's just so much that is circulating around the internet right now from this movie. We still want to talk about it. So you get to hear us listen to us, talk about it for a whole other week. And so we're going to be doing that. But first things first, we are going to be back to our normal routine. So if this is your first time, listen, we're going to talk about what we've messed up on, looked into, our beers of the week, what we've been reading or watching, some news for you guys, and then we will dive into our main topic. So please do us a favor, go to Hops Geek News on any podcasting platform, any social media platform, and like, subscribe, share, follow, leave a review, tell a friend, leave it on for your dog while you're going away, leave it on for your grandma in her little tiny, nursing home as you go say goodbye to her for the evening. Go ahead and put Hops Geek News on her TV on YouTube and come on this journey with us. Like I said, 230 episodes, 4 years deep, and we still have so much to offer. My beer of the week, if you will, is from Aleworks Brewing out of Williamsburg, Virginia. It is called Love is Love, brewed to benefit Hampton Roads Pride. And now it is a delicious double IPA, and that clocks in at 8% ABV. And the Aleworks Teamwork Series spotlights causes and organizations that matter. Hampton Roads Pride not only improves awareness and acceptance in the community, but they also utilize scholarships to support the next generation of innovative LGBTQ leaders. Pride is not just a month, it's a way of life. Let your color shine bright every day. Aleworks will donate $1 for every pint sold. So share with somebody that you love. I chose this actually because it's Deadpool and Wolverine, man. The love that we have for them, the love that they have for each other. Deadpool is obviously this character that knows no genders and loves everybody. And I just want to spread some love in this world. So Lauren, what are you drinking this week?
So last week I drank the Deadpool beer from Tripping Animals. On my birthday, we went to GB Bottle Shop and a birthday miracle happened. We got the Wolverine one. So now I have the Wolvie one. How cute is that? It's a little Wolverine dressed up like Wolverine. I will definitely post this on the TikTok and the Instagram. And it is called You're Dead, Bub. It is a double dry hopped India Pale Ale brewed with Wamia and Nelson Sauvin hops. And it is Tripping Animals. So of course it is a fantastically delicious beer. Cheers. And I do not have it in my cigar glass today because I really just felt like a Tiku, and it's the Tripping Animals Tiku. So I'm getting a little fancy. However, one of the monkeys on here is smoking some sort of fancy cigarette, so we could pretend it's a cigar.
That's an amazing. I love that. I wish I can get some of that up here. Tripping Animals has been making an appearance. I'll have to check my bottle shop up here that supposedly a Tripping Animals. I just found a Bird Girl bottle shop in Newport News that I checked out. Had great pizza, and then also they had
Sideward. That was crazy.
Yeah, there was Sideward. I got Trillium there. I got Stoneface Brewing out of New Hampshire, which is a smaller brewery that I've never seen distributed outside of like New Hampshire, Massachusetts area. I was very surprised to see that here. And it was I've been to that brewery, man. It had like Deciduous. It had a lot of really good stuff. Resident Culture was there too. Civil Society was there. So I had to pick up some beers. So I'm hopeful that maybe I can get some of those cool Tripping Animal beers.
Oh, and I got to do a Peep the Fit.
Oh, shoot. Peep the Fit. What you got? Go ahead.
So Matt kindly sent me an amazing birthday box that was full of Wolverine stuff. And so I have this little Funko Pop Wolverine shirt on. As soon as I opened the box, I was doing laundry already. So I threw it in the laundry and now I'm wearing it. It is very soft and very cute. And those Funko Pops are amazing. I got the Funko Pop that has the adamantium getting pulled out of Wolverine and the one that he's wearing when he fights the Hulk, which happens in the movie.
It was
So
destiny. It was fate. Thank you to Megan, actually. A shout out to her for accidentally ordering two and then bringing this to my attention because I didn't even know that box existed. Apparently, I don't know where it's from. I looked up the website. It's like through Amazon or something. It's like a cool Marvel subscription box that they do monthly.
you see that sometimes at the cons, and I assume it's like what they don't like sell, because I've heard of the monthly
Yeah,
subscriptions
I
where you
think
get all these
so.
cool toys and stuff. And it was funny because I commented on her box. I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at that old man Logan. He's so cute." So I took the sticker off because it's like clear on the back, and I stuck it right on the wall in my bar.
That's smart. It had Old Man Logan, a lot of cool stuff in there. But yeah, hey, you know what? Your birthday is another year has
Another
passed,
year. This is
and
41.
you are going to be doing this podcast till you're 90. Believe
Till
it
I'm
or not,
90.
till you're 90. And
Episode
yeah,
50,243, we'll be talking about Wolverine and Deadpool number 37.
yes, because Hugh Jackman is going to be 107 and still going strong.
Right. They lied about till you're 90.
Speaking of, still going strong, our patrons, we couldn't do a lot of this stuff without them. And one in particular, Scott, I want to shout him out, patreon.com/copsgeeknews. I've missed his emails so much. He kindly emails after listening to the episodes. And so he let us know that some things that we messed up on and looked into, from last week's episode was that Green Day's Good Riddance actually came out in 1997 and not 2000. What else did he let us know?
Oh, that was Timmy.
Oh, Tim did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was Tim's.
No, you're good. I have Scott
Cameo.
credit in a little bit. So it's funny. I didn't realize you were doing that. I was adding other things to the doc. So when I was arguing with you guys about the song and how like it's more relevant to me because I was older when it came out, in my head, I'm going, okay, this song played at the end of Seinfeld. And I think Seinfeld ended for 2000. In fact, I'm certain it did, but I was just so like set in my ways that I wasn't like backing down, and I did not fact check it. So then when Tim responded, my first response to him was, shh. I'm like, don't tell the kids that were born in the 90s. And then, obviously Tim and I went back and forth about that. But yes, it came out in 97. But actually here's an extra fun fact about that. We will be obviously getting into more, but we're going to kick it off with one before we do what we read or watched in news. At a recent Green Day concert, while Billy was singing and playing Good Riddance, the other two walked out in Deadpool and Wolverine costumes. He clearly did not know this was going to happen because he could not stop laughing. And so he couldn't sing the song because he was laughing. He was still playing the guitar. And the best part I thought was at the end, the one in the Wolverine costume quoted Step Brothers. And he's made the comment like, it's okay that this costume's not movie quality.
It was amazing.
It was. If you want to see the clip and you haven't, it is on Ryan Reynolds' Instagram page.
Yes, I highly recommend doing that. Green Day was one of my bands that shaped me growing up too. They've been on their recent tour. I haven't been able to see them on this tour, but they're playing Dookie and American Idiot in full. And then I did see them come out, and Ryan Reynolds, who shout out to him too. He's been posting every day on the socials, highlighting a different member from the movie and really just giving praises and thanks. And it's really cool because you don't see actors doing that for movies. You can really tell that there's a lot of love. Sean Levy as well has been just full on just thank you so much love, so much everything into this movie, and it's just really cool to see because you don't really see a lot of that. But I will also actually say the reason why we're doing this episode too is from Scott's email. He mentioned there are so many Easter eggs and hidden messages that we could do a show about those, which is actually what we decided to do tonight. We were going to talk, Olympic sports and what superheroes can do what Olympic event. And it was just kind of the Olympics are going on. Let's do that. And then Scott sent this email in. So this episode is specially dedicated to him.
Hercules would just win everything anyways, except Quicksilver, Flash would win the running ones.
Maybe.
Namor would win the swimming ones.
Listen, there's plenty of Aquaman and Namor would go against each other. Flash and
maybe the Deep might actually be more powerful because he's been all the way down to the Mariana Trench. That means he can withstand very high levels of pressure.
Yeah, Aquaman goes in the Mariana Trench too, you silly goose. Superman's fast. Superman can run too. Maybe he gets into the 1,500 meter one. I don't know. Maybe they do 15,000 miles instead of 1,500 meters because they're the fastest man on earth. Hulk, shot put, that's a good
Surfer
one.
would win surfing.
Hawkeye, archery, Hawk Girl. Not Hawk Girl, but Kate Bishop. She's another contender for that.
Hawk Girl.
There's a lot of things there. A lot of cool. And then Batwoman, does she do gymnastics? Because she can do a lot of cool acrobatic stunts. Does our beloved Robin do the pommel horse? I don't know. lots of things out there. Let us know if that's something people got something to say on that. Because speaking of the Olympics, that has actually been what I've been reading or watching this week. The Olympics over the last 2 weeks. I'm a big Olympics fan. I have been watching, like today, for example, Team USA came down from 17 down in basketball to beat Serbia to go to the gold medal match against France, host nation France. So that was, I was really into that. I've been swimming. I haven't really cared about swimming since Michael Phelps, but Katie Ledecky is out there killing it. She's the most decorated Olympic athlete of all time now. Simone Biles, shout out to her, the goat from one goat to another. If you saw my Instagram, one goat to another, right?
Stay humble, kids. Stay humble.
The women's gymnastics team took gold. Actually, the men's gymnastics team took bronze, which is the first time they've medaled since 2008. The dude Steven out of Worcester, Mass, he got bronze on the pommel horse, which is like the first time a male American gymnast has done that since the 80s. So the Olympics are fun because you find a sport that you would never normally watch, like water polo or handball, which I'm going to start a handball team. America has not had an Olympic handball team qualify since the 1996 Olympics. So if you want to get on my team, let me know. We're going to start it. We're going to make it happen. LA 2028. Aside from that, I've been rewatching How I Met Your Mother with Carrie, the both of us. It's my favorite show of all time. And so we've kind of been going through and rewatching it. So I think we're going to do a episode or perhaps a Cantina hour one day because Lauren is a big Friends fan. This is my version of Friends, where we just talk about our favorite sitcoms and favorite episodes, favorite moments, things of that nature. And the last thing,
fun like Thanksgiving time episode because those were both
that's a
shows
good idea.
That, like, your friends were your family and they kind of spent holidays together. Because Friends, they peaked in Thanksgiving time, man. That was their holiday. But I know How I Met Your Mother had some great ones too.
Slapsgiving, yes. They had Slapsgiving.
There you go.
So okay, all right. I think we just found our Thanksgiving episode. And the last thing that I've done was for nerdinitiative.com, where you can find us each and every Wednesday dropping reviews of your favorite comic books or maybe comic books you haven't read yet. I did Principles of Necromancy #4 by Magma Comics. The Hive Mind, Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, and then Eamon Winkle was the artist. And this wraps up the 4-issue arc they had. They said that it's not over yet. It's over for now until they continue. They're going to continue at some point, essentially. Very good, very graphic horror. A lot of good twists that would make M. Night Shyamalan cry because he could never do something like that. It was a very, very well done. Dr. Jacob Eyes prevented death, or did he? I don't know. You got to read it, but it's just 4 issues, man. The first arc is 4 issues. Very, very, very good. Check that out. That's from Magma Comics. Lauren, what you got this week?
So speaking of creepy comics, I actually read the first 2 issues of Spectrograph by Christian Ward.
Oh, how'd you like it?
Dude, it's really good. It's really creepy. So this was one of the books you had talked about it, and then my comic shop just put it in there, I think, because I bought the
I've been talking about it and doing reviews on it.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give this a shot. And like it sucked me in pretty quick. So I'm looking forward to reading more. And we talked about doing before Halloween, doing a creepy comics, which I think we might do in September. So if you want to get them so you have creepy comics during October, I think this might be on my list. And what you were just talking about too, I think those will both be great ones. But because I only read the first issue of Principles of Necromancy, so I'm going to need to read that too. But now I almost feel like I should wait till October so I can read it by my fake fireplace that's decorated in Halloween Town. My comic book review this week was another Wolverine comic. It was Wolverine Deep Cut. This is another spinoff of Uncanny X-Men. I love that Chris Claremont is doing this. It's so amazing because like Wolverine's been around for 50 years. For half of that time, Hugh Jackman has been playing him. However, for 40 of those years, Chris Claremont has been writing him. More than 40 years. He's been writing Wolverine longer than I've been alive. And that's saying a lot. So it's so fun though because Uncanny X-Men lasted for so many issues, and he recently did Knights of Madripoor, which spun off of an issue of Uncanny X-Men. So now he's doing Wolverine Deep Cut that spins off of another one. You don't have to read these old comics, but they're getting dusted off for X-Men 97, for Deadpool and Wolverine. So it's so cool to have these fresh stories mixed in with these older stories. So again, that's Wolverine Deep Cut by Chris Claremont. I did do the review for that on Nerd Initiative as well. I've started catching up on Sweet Tooth. I had completely forgot about that show. That's my current.
Gary finished the show, period. It's over, isn't it, for good now?
I don't know. I'm only on season 2, and I think there's 3.
Oh, well, she finished the whole thing because I'm 99% sure that, it's over, like it wrapped up. I fell out of that show after season 1, so.
Well, that was like I was looking for something to put on actually before I even left for Europe to like do laundry to, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this show. So I put that. And if anybody likes that, we actually did an episode on that with Woodland Empire where we talked about the comic book. And I also read Jeff Lemire is the one that like wrote it because they like credit him at the beginning of the show.
The
and I was
comic
like,
book
oh,
is
yeah.
depressing. Oh my God,
Yeah,
the
I
comic
can
book
see
is one
that.
of the saddest, most depressing comic runs I have ever read in my life. If
Yeah.
you're ready to be gut punched, read it, but it is one of the most absolute depressing things I've ever read, without a doubt.
I mean, there's been a couple points in the show this season that are like, oof. But so I am reading that or watching that, and that's been really good. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine again. Bullet Train. Have you seen that? I watched that on the plane home from
I
London.
loved Carrie and I saw it in theater.
It was
Oh
so
my God, that
good.
movie's amazing. Oh,
And it
I was
has,
so
like-
surprised. It has
and it has
everybody.
Quicksilver, the guy from Eternals.
Aaron
it
Taylor
has
Johnson.
Deadpool, it has
Yeah.
so many
Brian
people.
Brian Michael Tyree. It has Brad
Yeah,
Pitt.
he was in Eternals.
It's got Joy King. She's in it. It's got he's the rapper. Dude, what's his name? He's the musician. I can't remember his name off the top of my head
Was
now.
that Percy
No.
Jackson in it too? Because if it was, that
I'd have
was
to go
actually
back
kind
and
of
watch
funny.
that.
Maybe I'll look that
I
up real
don't
quick
remember.
because they made comments about they were calling him and the guy was like obsessed with Thomas the Train, which is like hilarious.
Yeah,
that
it was. He was the Thomas stickers. Like, how you feeling? You get the Thomas sticker.
Yeah, and it's so action packed. Anybody who hasn't watched it, but it's also hilarious. So I highly recommend it. But yeah, and Sandra Bullock's in it, and yeah, it's got a fantastic cast.
Oh yeah, there's
But
a
it
couple
doesn't-
surprises. I don't want to give away. Like, I know it's been out for a while, but yeah, it's got kind of like a surprise. Like, who's the actual bad guy? Was kind of a cool
Yes.
surprise.
So there's mysteries, there's twists, there's action, and it's hilarious from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's so good. I cannot
think that
recommend that.
is
I'm so glad you finally watched it.
Logan Lerman I think he's the kid in the first Percy Jackson movies.
Oh,
And
okay,
they made
okay.
there was definitely 100% a call to those movies because they called him Percy or something. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, pretty sure that's Percy Jackson, and I'm pretty sure they just were like teasing him and calling him Percy. Yeah, that's him.
Oh, all right.
So that had to have been an
I didn't
intentional
catch
nod.
that. I have to watch it because I've seen it twice, once in theaters and once like right after it came out. So I don't fully remember it. But it was
it was
dude, it's so
fantastic.
good.
I'm glad I watched
It's
that.
so good.
And I did watch House of the Dragon, and I saw somebody else's comment on Twitter where it summed it up. It was good
Wasn't it
storylines
basically
in
a
this
commercial for
season.
next season?
Yeah, that was the thing. It was like there was parts that were good. There was parts I was sucked in. It was very, I did enjoy it. There were parts that I was like, whoa. But then the finale, I finished it and I was like, maybe that's not the finale because it didn't feel like a season finale. And I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what it was. It's a commercial for the next season. It was like a penultimate episode, I feel like. So it made me not excited for the next season when I feel like they were trying to get me excited for the next season.
Yeah, I think they're ending it with 5 seasons. And honestly, I never could really get into it. I don't know, man. Something about
Well,
it. The
John
writing this season was
watches it,
I
so-
kind of tried to get into it. The writing this season was a little off too, with how they kept trying to just force, Rhaenyra and Alicent to have conversations that never happened in the book together. And George R. R. Martin actually left the writing team for House of Dragon because he was kind of pissed, I guess. So Game of Thrones, man, they just can't seem to get them right. Cannot seem to get it right. Oh, I did watch a movie on the plane that I hadn't seen yet. It was the Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Didn't really care about the original Hunger Games movies. They were kind of bleh. So, but when you're on a 7-hour plane ride and kind of want something, I started watching it and just to be like, oh, I'll fall asleep. But then I would kind of open my eye, like something would start to get kind of good. And I'd be like, all right, fine. It was probably the better Hunger Games movie they've made. That's not saying much.
Yeah, I'm not huge
It's
on
about
that franchise.
The franchise has potential. There's a lot of potential to get like real crazy with the lore, but it was okay. It's about, President Snow and how it didn't really make sense, I guess, because he had so much like compassion for he like was the champion for his person going to the thing, but they like fell in love, but then just like out of nowhere he switches to want to be like a murderous person. It just makes no sense. I don't really understand. There was no reason for him to just flip the switch and then all of a sudden become this murderous person that we meet in the Hunger Games movies and what he did at the end of the movie. So I felt like that really just didn't stick with me because
Pulled a Magneto.
It really just didn't make sense. And so I was like, I'm good with these movies. Don't need to do them again. But
I never liked the premise, but I have friends who read the books that swear by the books.
I read the books. The books were decent. Like I said, there's a really it's got a really solid premise. I mean, after a civil war, all the Pan Am is broken up into districts, and they take the district, like somebody from there, and they pit them against each other. Like there's a very dark premise in there that you can do really well, but it's obviously was a young adult novel, so they made it like lovey. But then Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss and all that, like she was just like a shitty hero who didn't do anything the whole time, and her acting sucked. So I think that also didn't help, but I digress. Off of my soapbox, we have some news that we are recording this before D23, so expect those news and announcements next week. However, I got a big announcement because this is one of the best TV shows out there. Season 1, I swear by it, and I'm actually getting a nice birthday present because on October 16th, Shrinking Season 2 will be coming to Apple TV. Had no idea they were even filming season 2. I've been wondering when season 2 would be coming because season 1 with Harrison Ford, Jason Segel was one of it's Ted Lasso-esque, but
it's got more vulgar humor.
Yeah, but at the same time, it makes you really think
very heartfelt
too, and yeah.
They're all dealing with shit. Jason Segel's dealing with trauma. But I recommended it to anybody who has Apple. I recommend it to them. One of my friends, it might have been Erica or Tracy, watched it and like, oh my god, that show's amazing. I'm like, I know it is so good. I honestly, I enjoyed it more than Ted Lasso.
I wasn't gonna say it. I thought it, but I was like, well, I don't want to get too hot takey on this show. But in my head, I was like, this is better than Ted Lasso, in my opinion. I don't know, man. I love shows like this that it's like I'm going to therapy without actually going to therapy. It helps me with my own shit, I guess. And this one really does it for me.
It's funny. So our next news is Shaun of the Dead is going to be re-releasing in theaters in September to celebrate their 20th anniversary. Time flies. I love this movie. Fun.
Maybe Halloween. Maybe this is our zombie feature this year at Halloween because I'm a big fan of this movie. How do you feel about Shaun of the Dead?
Go to the Winchester.
Have a pint. Wait for this whole thing to blow over. Yes. I did watch Hot Fuzz too on the plane. Hot Fuzz, again, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I love those two together. And Shaun of the Dead is one of the better zombie movies ever made in existence out there. It's God, love that movie too.
It doesn't take itself seriously. It's fantastic.
It doesn't. But speaking of our vacation and airplane, Disney's next cruise ship will actually be the Disney Destiny, and as each boat has a statue in the atrium, this boat is going to have a statue of Black Panther with a Black Panther. All the boats also have characters painting the logo on the back of the ship, and the Disney Destiny is going to feature Spider-Man, and that's going to set sail. You can start booking this fall, but it sets sail next November is the initial, inaugural voyage.
So many boats. The Wish is new, and then we have the Treasure coming out, and now this, and one of them is going to have.
Did you see the pictures of the Treasure?
I did.
The Treasure's out on water. I saw them launch it. It looks really beautiful. I'm like,
Jessica literally 30 minutes ago texted me a link that you can already book because she has a placeholder too from her last.
So are we.
So I don't know I don't know. We got to figure things out. I'm excited though.
We do, because I would absolutely enjoy a cruise with Jess. I love Jess. She's one of my favorite people.
A good time on a cruise. I think that one's only leaving out of Cape Canaveral, which is obviously
that's fine.
Perfect for us.
That means I can drive down to your house so we can all go together.
Yes, I will tell you. I was so stressed getting on the boat in Barcelona, and I've never been stressed getting on the boats before because I've always woken up in my own bed or the bed at my dad's. So it was always just oh, no big deal. So yeah.
Well, we could do the fish extenders and stuff like that too this time. I didn't do that last time because I was like, I can't bring. We barely made weight coming back from Europe. Now it's dude, if we just drive the 10-11 hours down and to your house, whatever, we stay a couple extra days or a few days.
Things.
Well, what I was saying is we can do Disney or something together and
stuff.
Yeah, see, we can hit up Disney before, make it a vacation, then hop on the boat all together. See, whole big thing.
Fantastic. All right, so James Gunn has announced that Superman has wrapped filming. It is still set to come out July 11th, 2025.
Would you believe that this movie and Fantastic Four come out 2 weeks apart, and Fantastic Four has just now began production while this movie has wrapped production?
Damn. You think we're gonna get the
I'm really curious about that because I feel like Fantastic Four is going to take a lot of visual effects work, and with whole discourse about how overworked visual effects people are, especially in Marvel, it kind of worries me. I'm not gonna lie, I have no doubts that it's going to be a great movie, but I get worried that obviously James Gunn skipped Hall H this year because they were wrapping up filming, and he's like, I want to put a lot of love and care into Superman that has a year to come out, whereas they're going to be filming 6 months. So for Fantastic Four, so say they wrap in December, there's still going to be a lot of visual because they're all, superpowers,
Well,
and
maybe
Galactus
James
alone. Like,
Gunn just needed the extra time because he's being very careful not to make the same mistakes DC has been making.
also, DC needs the extra time to get back in our. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and to like
I don't
not
know.
do everything in slow motion. So
Slow motion
I
for
don't
me.
see.
Slow motion for me.
Oh,
Slow motion.
I like it
Slow
like
motion
that.
for me.
So what's going on with Last of Us?
Oh my goodness. They have dropped a teaser trailer, and The Last of Us season 2 will premiere sometime in the year 2025 of our Lord on HBO Max. I have so much I want to say, but I'm not.
Yeah, don't spoil anything for me. I've gone this far.
Yes.
So,
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Deadpool and Wolverine is officially the highest grossing rated R movie ever. It took the title from Passion of the Christ, making Marvel Jesus more popular than regular Jesus. I feel like that line's going to get us canceled right there. I was telling my mom that she didn't like it when I said, she kind of looked at me.
Jesus, indeed. Dude, this movie's tracking to finish with like $1.4 billion. It's an R-rated superhero film. The fact that it's as high as it, the top 3 highest grossing R-rated films, you got Deadpool and Wolverine at 1, and The Christ at 2, and Deadpool at 3 now. It's insane
Really?
that the top 5. Yeah, Deadpool is now number 3. Yeah.
Where's Logan in there?
Just nuts. I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to look, but like the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine has finally removed Jesus from his throne, that's the second coming. Call it the rapture if you will, because they came back for Logan and all these time variants. But The Boys season 5 will not actually be returning until the year 2026. However, Jensen Ackles will be a season regular. I hate that we got to wait that long, but we are getting Gen V coming out in 2025. So I guess there's a glimmer of hope. Do you think they're going to connect Gen V more into The Boys with how a couple characters made appearances in season 4 of The Boys?
I'm not sure. I was looking up this.
She just
doesn't
never
seem right.
listens.
It says Joker listed as number 1. And Oppenheimer, that wasn't rated R. This can't be right. What do I think they're going to do with season 5 of The Boys? Is that
that's not right? I'll tell you right now, it's not right. Do you think Gen V come out in 2025 and then season 5 of The Boys 2026? Do you think that they are going to kind of tie in Gen V more to The Boys because Gen V characters made an appearance in season 4 of The Boys?
Yes, and I think that they want everybody to now. I think they're trying to shift The Boys to these spin-offs. And they got to be careful because when they did it with Walking Dead, it really didn't work out so well. So, yeah.
I saw an ad on Netflix for the Daryl Dixon show, and I was like, nope.
I didn't hate the Daryl Dixon show. I mean, the Rick and Michonne show was fantastic. Anybody who liked Walking Dead, I highly recommend watching that. The Negan show was meh, but the Daryl Dixon show wasn't bad.
Not getting me.
But, yeah. So Jensen Ackles, did you say the Vought Rising?
I did. We have one little last piece of Boys news left, which is...
And that is The Boys Mexico. This is still in early development and will star Diego Luna and Gael Garcia. It's funny because Diego Luna also stars in Narcos Mexico. So I guess he's just getting all these Mexico spinoffs.
Typecast. Jeez, man. Get original, Hollywood. My gosh. We talked about this piece of news on our Cantina Hour last week, but both of us are pretty sad that we're not going to be able to get to Disneyland. What's happening on Disneyland? Yeah,
mixed feelings here. So I actually threw this into news before I knew we were going to do all these fun facts. So Deadpool and Wolverine are at Disneyland, California and Paris. There is a story time with Deadpool in California. Some of the jokes are absolutely jokes I never thought that they would do at Disneyland, but they are fantastic. If you have
Grinder jokes, for example,
seen these, if you have not seen these clips, search anywhere on the social medias. They even made a joke like Wolverine's like, don't you ever stop talking. And he's like, well, they did sew my mouth shut once. I think you were there. There was a whole story about because they're doing spin-offs on fairy tales. Like they start to tell Beauty and the Beast, or they start to tell Red Riding Hood. And the Red Riding Hood one, the Wolverine ends up being like the grandma or the big bad wolf or whatever. And then he's like, and then they live happily ever after. And big little Red was on the top bunk and Wolvie was obviously on the bottom. And then he said something about being on his knees, begging forever for his own story time at Disneyland, and that's how he got to Disneyland. He made a joke about RDJ being Doom. He's like, and he would never wanted to be Iron Man again. He would be doomed if he would ever be, or something like that. He's doing dirty dancing moves with Star-Lord. He's riding a unicorn around singing bye, bye, bye. And there's even a joke about no musicals because the Wolverine character is like, oh, I'm not doing musicals. He's like, really? Because you'd be a showman. The greatest.
Oh my gosh.
Every clip is
crazy.
Phenomenal.
That's wild to me. I cannot believe that's actually what a time, huh? What a time. Well, aside from that, the Russo brothers, speaking of Robert Downey Jr., the Russo brothers are coming back to direct Marvel's Avengers 5 and 6. So Avengers Doomsday, which will be in May of 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars, May of 2027. We've all heard the news. RDJ is back for a cool, like $100 million per movie, playing a variant or something of Doom. It's caused a lot of discourse out there. I'm still not sure how I feel about it.
I ain't judging it till it happens. I mean,
when the movie comes out, obviously I'm like, this is the greatest movie of all time. It's the smartest thing they could have ever done. I can't believe Kevin Feige did it again. But for now, I'm just going to sit in my chair in my house that is not paid for by Marvel and say, I don't know what to think. And that's what I have.
There you go. So I guess as of right now, the all-time, so I think they're basing it on like the opening weekends or something. This website, though, is listing like Joker as the highest grossing ever. That's the second website I found. And then Oppenheimer, then Deadpool 2, then Deadpool, then Matrix Reloaded, It 2017. Logan is then in there just after Detective Chinatown 3. I don't even know what that is.
What is Detective Chinatown 3? Did they mean Big Trouble in Little China? I don't know.
And then The Passion of the Christ. I don't know. And then Hangover 2.
I don't know.
It's two websites.
I don't know about all of that.
Further digging and research on this. So Invincible Season 4 has been confirmed with Season 3 dropping in early 2025. No surprise. One day you'll watch it.
Interesting. Well, yeah.
What's going on with Jay and Silent Bob?
Jay and Silent Bob have a movie coming out called Store Wars, which begins shooting this fall. We're getting more Jay and Silent Bob. Kevin Smith has a trailer for his new movie out as well. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but I'm going to go and
it's like something about a movie theater, but it's like it takes place in the 80s or late 80s, early 90s, maybe.
Yeah. Well, he owns a movie theater now, Smodcastle Cinemas. So that's also why, and he just gets to do his own thing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Final season of Superman and Lois on CW will kick off this October 17th.
We do have a piece of bad news to end the news on a sad note. It appears as though Jay Wakefield is closing their Wynwood location. Not really.
They are not closing. They said they will open another location. They will be doing collabs with other people in the meantime. However, it's still a little like upsetting or concerning because I feel like so many breweries are doing this lately. And if anybody who has been to Jay Wakefield, the art on the walls, just the fact that that's going to get painted over is devastating because they have a giant wall that is just all the Star Wars characters at the cantina. They have a table that is Han and adamantium.
Why are they getting rid of it then?
So the Wynwood area got oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what they call it when they take gentrified like crazy. So like few years back, maybe even 10 years ago now, it was a fantastic area. They had the Wynwood walls, which was all this like gorgeous art that you could walk through for free. They had these like amazing chandeliers, like legit art, and it was free to walk through. And you could walk to Jay Wakefield Brewing from there. You could walk to it wasn't Dogfish at the time, it was Concrete Beach Brewing, which is owned by Sam Adams. You could walk to Wynwood Brewing, all these fantastic places, so many fantastic food places as well. But it went too far in the gentrification. And so now, much like what's happening in the Keys, is they're knocking down these little places and they're building high rises everywhere. So they've taken what has made Wynwood
soulless, lifeless look apartments. God, I hate it so much.
Yes, but what's shitty is like there's like, a lot of people come to Wynwood, let's build these apartments. Nobody's going to want to go there now, but the rent has gotten so astronomical that Dogfish left last year. So I knew that Wynwood was partially owned by InBev, and now I think they're more so owned by InBev. I'm not sure the percentage exactly, but I know they have a relationship with InBev. So I knew that Jay Wakefield was just a matter of time.
It was a matter of time. Yeah,
really
I mean, you're taking the soul out of this neighborhood. The whole reason why people went to this neighborhood now, like nobody's going to go there. Like
last time we were there, they were charging for Wynwood walls, which I mean, if their rent went up, because I think before it was like a donation thing. But it's a shame. I'm glad I got to go there at the height of when it was like the coolest.
Right.
But yeah, it happens. But there was another bottle shop. I think it was Box Elder closed. They were in Wynwood. They do the Save the Whales Beer Fest. And they said they were going to open somewhere else. I don't know if they have. I hope they have. I should look into that. But I haven't been down to Miami in a while, except to change planes, which was a nightmare. Okay.
Oh, my God.
That's all we got.
Well, that's all we have for news. Let's dive into our Deadpool and Wolverine Easter egg main topic. We will get to that just a moment.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, we're back. You're still here because we're ready to go. We would like to shout out Scott once more because he is the one who suggested that we actually do this. Like I mentioned earlier, all of these fun facts are from our memories and the various interview clips that we have watched on social media. Lauren cannot get enough of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together. So like, honestly, I can't either. God, till I did see a thing that Kevin Feige's like, yeah, once this movie's kind of settled down, they're going to have a talk about what's next. Obviously, Hugh Jackman's going to come back in Secret Wars. I guarantee that. And
he wants to keep doing it. He wants to.
There's
another.
Yeah.
I just thought of another fun fact. Okay.
Well, while you think of your other fun fact, last week we did a review of the movie, and beforehand we did a comic origin episode for the film, and then we've also recapped both Deadpool movies, and we talked about all of the Hugh Jackman as Wolverine films and kind of sorted out the X-Men timeline, which is very hard and confusing. So if you're still with us after all that, thank you. And if you need more after this, go back and check those out. Definitely recommend. Lauren put a lot of work into the timeline episode. It was
really did.
It was very confusing, man. It was hard. This is not an exhaustive list. So if we fail to mention something that you think that we should have mentioned, please let us know. We will shout you out next week. You can go to our email, follow our link tree, which is in the bio of this episode, and kind of let us know. So Lauren, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
So Deadpool was not originally going to be with Wolverine. They were struggling for a script and they were at a complete loss, and they were about to have a meeting with, the higher ups. Hugh Jackman on a whim decided to call Ryan. He literally pulled his car over to the side of the road and decided to make the call because he suddenly felt compelled, and he told him he wanted in, and the story suddenly came together. So when I'm now just referring to him as Wolverine. When Hugh Jackman did Logan, he said he then went to go see Deadpool in theater and was like, I fucked up. I got out too soon. But one of the reasons he said he actually got out when he did was he was either talking to Jerry Seinfeld, or he heard an interview with, I think he was talking to him. And Seinfeld was talking about how he ended the show Seinfeld before he wanted to, because he didn't want to keep doing it when his energy was gone or the audience's energy was gone. He wanted to end on a high note. Obviously that's a tricky thing, especially with TV.
Yeah, when do you find the right moment?
Right. And I feel like Seinfeld did pick the right moment, and they've had fun in Curb Your Enthusiasm. They've done little things here and there. So I feel like that made sense for Seinfeld, but I feel like obviously for Wolverine, it's different because the scope of these movies in this universe has just evolved so much, and there's so many stories to tell. Whereas Seinfeld, you can only tell so many stories about people living in New York in a show that's
actually about nothing. To steal a popular quote from Matt Remke from the direct, movies are sports. I feel as though personally Hugh Jackman got out. He's like Barry Sanders of film. Barry Sanders, one of the greatest running backs of all time, played for the Detroit Lions. He retired like at his prime, retired at his prime. Now, Hugh Jackman, I'm not saying he was in his prime Darren Logan. Like, obviously, he's in his mid-50s now, so it's a little different. However,
he looked pretty in his fucking
he did.
prime
He
in
did.
that scene.
But really, he got out just as things were getting good and they were starting to bring the X-Men and all this stuff together in Marvel. Like, he got out just before Infinity War and the Thanos saga basically wrapped up. So arguably he got out just before a potential Super Bowl run, if you will. And now he's back in it. They came back, they've won their championship. And now he's like, you know what? I think I can do this, maybe one, maybe two more times. Who knows? I think he's going to come back for Secret Wars. It's very funny that it's funny. He was just like compelled out of nowhere. He's driving. All of a sudden it's like Jesus popped into his seat and was like, hey, Marvel Jesus needs you. And he was like, you're right.
I mean, thank Christ it happened. But
yes.
Well, it's interesting. I think it was he must have, because Deadpool came out before Logan, but I think he had already announced that Logan was going to be his final straw. But again, as much as they desecrated his corpse, as evidenced on our YouTube channel right now, they did still honor that Wolverine. And whatever Wolverine we get in Secret Wars, yes, it will be Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but this is a different Wolverine.
It is.
And I think that
vastly different.
Yeah, so I feel like we still connect to him because obviously he's in every universe he's the best at what he does, and in every universe he's a cigar smoking, bub. I mean, even when he's the little guy, he was probably even extra tough then. But I think I'm so freaking excited. Okay, so the original title was actually Deadpool and Friend. That leaked like right before the Super Bowl, and people absolutely hated it because it was terrible. So very last minute, everything had to be changed to Deadpool and Wolverine, and they had already like sent like marketing tools to places, and they're like, oh nope, we're not going to use that. Which I was very surprised when I found that out, because for me, watching that trailer when it ended with Deadpool and Wolverine, because Wolverine was barely in that trailer, but he's in the entire movie. So when they ended with Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, okay, that's all we're getting. I'm okay with that. But then I saw that. I was like, okay, this is going to be more than a cameo. This is going to be more than a nod.
It was the movie. Yeah, it was legitimately a buddy cop film. It's like amazingly. And,
we're just going to keep on doting on second episode in a row. Sorry.
In X2, as Wolverine is fleeing the X-Mansion with Pyro, Iceman, and Rogue, Pyro puts the radio on, which is when we hear NSYNC's Bye 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 blasting. Enter the opening of Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of a callback. Now, in Deadpool 2, during the opening credits, a Celine Dion song is playing. There is a clip, which is not in the movie, where Deadpool tells Celine that her performance of the song was at an 11, and for Deadpool, he needs her at like a 6. She responds saying she's always at an 11, and she calls him Spider-Man. He then whispers to himself that he should have called NSYNC. And sadly, the person dancing was not Ryan Reynolds. However, kudos to Nick Pauli for nailing his role in dance. He was in the suit. He's been posting on TikTok and Instagram. And he also nailed Ryan's mannerisms down to the point we all thought it literally was Ryan. And he's credited as Dancepool, which I thought was really cool. And I was very surprised to learn that it wasn't Ryan, because I thought that would be something Ryan would have learned. But shout out to
I guess he
Nick.
Tried, and he's like, I mean, you got to know your limits sometimes. And he knew.
True, that is true.
I mean, I think Ryan Reynolds probably could have done a decent job, but I don't think he could have done what that guy did. So
yeah, Nick crushed it.
So for all you Always Sunny people, Rob McElhenney actually did have a cameo. He was one of the TVA people, and he is one of the people that owns the soccer team Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds. So
yes,
have fun to just get to put your friends in the things that you do.
Well, however, he was cut out apparently. Did you see that whole thing? Like, hey, I flew halfway around the world, and he was cut out. So I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he was cut out.
I saw him say that, but then I thought he was joking because all the TVA agents had masks on, so we wouldn't have known it was him anyways.
I mean, yeah. So I was confused on that myself. I'm pretty sure he was cut out. Like the studio cut him out, but maybe it was a joke because they all have masks on. But I don't know.
Maybe there was a scene where he didn't have his mask on.
I request elaboration.
I don't know.
In Happy's office,
does some research.
It does. Now we get to go to Happy's office, which one of the cool things was that Ryan was so intimidated almost because he called Jon Favreau, who was down to do this right away. And he was so honored, and a really cool thing that he came in, knocked it out. Ryan was super grateful, posted an Instagram, Twitter post, all that stuff. And actually in the office of Happy, we see the Captain America shield, was the one we saw from Iron Man 2. We see not only Jon Favreau making the cameo, he also took the time to sit and talk big ideas and larger themes for Marvel, as obviously he's the actual Marvel Jesus, because Iron Man. It all started with him creating Iron Man and taking this big studio risk, and it paid off, man, because look at where we're at. You see the little suit from Iron Man 2 and the briefcase is there. I think Whiplash has some stuff there. There's the picture of Tony with Peter, but Peter's face is being blocked by the helmet. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things. They call back to his time as a bodyguard, and then he becomes the driver or the chauffeur, then becomes the bodyguard. And he was like, what's this we? We? Oh, I did not know this was, a universal term. So it was really, really great scene.
And it's so crazy to think like Iron Man was considered like an independent movie. So it's so crazy to see how far it's come. So this next fun fact I actually thought was hilarious. I did watch this clip with Kevin Feige. So there were a lot of cocaine jokes in the first 2 Deadpool movies because Blind Owl loves her cocaine. So, and we learned at the beginning of the movie or even in the trailer that the one thing Feige said was off limits was cocaine. I saw an interview with Feige where he explains what he said was that the cocaine jokes were getting kind of stale. So maybe get away from those in the third one. So what Ryan Reynolds heard was make jokes about Feige saying we can't do cocaine jokes. So that led to Ryan writing more drug jokes as a response.
Which
and
is
that was
clever,
like Kevin's
though.
It was very clever. But it was funny because Kevin was kind of like in the interview, you could tell he was kind of like, that's not exactly what I said.
I didn't tell them no cocaine. I said
like,
no.
It's been overdone.
No. The Bolivia marching powder. Do you want to build a snowman? They know it all.
You want to build a snowman was too good because it was Disney.
It was. Multiverse Wolverines. All right. We get Old Man Logan. He even uses the gun. He's sitting on the porch and all. We get Wolverine fighting the Hulk, which is actually from the Incredible Hulk issue number 340. And it's the same tune that introduced Wolverine for the first time ever in issues 180 and 181. So this is actually the match between Hulk and Wolverine, not the first time they fought each other. We then see Wolverine on the Giant X, which is from Uncanny X-Men issue number 251. We see the Apocalypse Wolverine. We also see more than one of these Wolverines were in the recent short run called Weapon X. We get Zombie Wolvie was in the comic, which would have been a fun addition. And then anyways, if you need more Wolverines, Lauren raves about it. It's a great run. She did all the reviews for Nerd Initiative. It was one of her favorite short Wolverine runs. And then it's by Christus Gage. So check that out if you will. We got Patch, of course, too. Patch was somebody we talked about. We knew that was going to make a thing. We got Cavalrine, which they made the DC joke. Apparently Henry was in, and he even made like a fun joke on Instagram. He was like, I shaved only the mustache off this time. Yeah. He kept everything but the mustache this time. Don't worry. He made a joke about shaving off the mustache this time because he had the chops.
Right, he CGI'd the mustache off. I didn't even put that together. That is really funny.
Yeah,
it was kind of like, wait, what? Oh, I did know that. So what's funny though is he's also credited on IMDb. I don't know if it's in the credits too as Calvarine. Like that is what he's referred to.
God, the things I would do if he became the 616 Wolverine. Makes me all hot.
My God, it's so many mixed emotions. Oh, it's so hard. Okay, so Chris Evans got a text from Ryan Reynolds who said, I have an idea. You can say no. And then when he mentioned Torch, Chris Evans was instantly in. He said he loved the cameo Ryan made for him in Fall Guy, and he was excited to do this too.
Did you also see that he did it because he doesn't get to act like this normally? And Ryan was like, we got cue cards. And he was like, he memorized every last bit. Like he didn't get the cue cards. He was like, I have memorized every last bit because he doesn't get to act like this. So he was super pumped to be able to like free reign. He was like, no, dude, I'm memorizing this. And so he actually took the time to memorize his monologue that we see there. And you can quote me on that.
Gotcha.
Cassandra Nova, those were actually her fake fingers. Thank God, because they were creepy. She seemed a bit mortified when she heard some people thought it was her real fingers. Yeah. I'm glad, because for a second there I was like, those definitely aren't. Maybe she just had alien hands. I don't know, but I'm very glad
she got cast was for the long fingers.
Yeah.
We have mentioned Tim Falls a lot, so I'm not going to go into that. That's where Cassandra and her goons live. They saw Old Man Logan.
We did talk about Pyro too being the same actor.
Yeah, as in X2 and X3. Toad was also an X-Men, however, it was recast for this movie.
Oh, really? It looked just like him. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
When I look, I mean, if anybody finds something else, because some of these were difficult to find because, like, it looked like because not all of them were credited. So, like, even going on
Right.
IMDb, I couldn't find some of them. So it looked like it was not Darth Maul that was Toad this time. Azazel returns, and I found something that said it was the same actor, but I'm not certain. He was in First Class. However, we saw that
I
he is
think
dead in Days of Future Past when Mystique breaks into Trask's office and sees the autopsy photos. So this has to be a different Azazel then. It does appear to be the same actor. I'm not sure. And when you Google a photo of him, he's
it
much older. He
looks
has
like
a
the same
lot of makeup
actor.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he also like he doesn't even have a speaking line, and everybody just forgets about him right away.
I know. Well, a lot of them. So, like, okay, I'll go into these other ones as well. So, Lady Deathstrike was barely seen, but she was in X2 where she also died. So, it has to be a different one.
Yeah.
Stryker was controlling her, and Wolverine pumped her full of liquid adamantium, and she sunk to the bottom of that tank. And there was a couple other nods to the background characters. They were very detailed in all of this. These are not familiar castings, though. So, Bullseye was in the background, not one we're familiar with. The Russian from the 2004 Punisher, played by Kevin
Was
Nash.
different, yeah.
Yeah, it was different, but he had the same like pirate looking red and white shirt on, or Where's Waldo shirt. There was a Psylocke, but again, not the one we're used to. Callisto was in there. And Quill was in there as well, the mutant from X3. Again, all of these are different actors. Because Callisto was actually played by one of the main characters from Sweet Tooth. Because I'm watching that, I'm like, why does she look familiar? Oh, that's who she is. She's the one that can like run really fast and then come back, and she can also find mutants. In X-Men 3, and Magneto's like, oh, yeah, find mutants. So all of those, although the Quill's the guy that has the spikes that come out, it was a girl that played him in Deadpool and Wolverine, so it's definitely a different actor, and not Star-Lord. So yeah, I think there was a few others too, but yeah, it's hard when they're not credited to figure out who's who.
For sure. We gotta wait for the Blu-ray to come out, man, obviously. Now, we get some past heroes introduced in this. We kick things off with the wall statue of Wanda, aka the Scarlet Witch, being used as basically like their ceiling of sorts in their little cave, which makes me think she must have been in the void at some point. That makes I would be very curious if, like, what if at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, she blasts herself to the void?
Keep reading my notes.
Maybe that's where she ended up after Multiverse of Madness, is what Lauren says. Yes, because she's not dead. Whoa. The last time we saw the statue was at Mount Wundagore, where Wanda was allegedly crushed in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now we both could see if Wanda finding a way out into another multiverse, hiding out to face her own past. She's not gone. Alioth didn't get
But I feel like she's struggling with what she did too, because I rewatched that scene because I wanted to specifically see it because I knew we had seen it before. So I rewatched like 10 minutes at the end of that movie, and like she's heartbroken with what she did. You remember she faced her kids. She's very emotional.
Well, she was taken over by the Darkhold, man. It wasn't her.
Right. And I could see her though feeling guilt and feeling like this is my punishment. I'm just going to hide in the void by myself. And because I doubt Alioth got her. And at the end, she destroyed the Darkhold in every single
dead, man.
universe.
We don't
could also be why the
body.
TVA noticed. Remember, she had the dark fingers. She's not dead. Maybe she's an Agatha.
Creepy
That
dark
would be fun.
fingers. I doubt. Maybe. I doubt it.
So,
maybe.
Elektra, shout out to Jennifer Garner, who played her years ago. She put in the work to get back into shape. She posted a video showing all the work she did. She can really handle those size quite well. I would love to see her in a fight against Raphael. So when Deadpool apologizes for Daredevil not making it, she says, that's all right. Obviously, that was a jab at Ben Affleck, who played Daredevil alongside her, and that is also her ex-husband. And Jennifer played Ryan Reynolds' mom in the Adam Project. So I
forgot
do wonder
about that. Yeah.
But I wonder if that's what initiated him reaching out to her to come into the movie.
It's gotta be. Now we get Blade, played by Wesley Snipes. The line, I don't like you, and then Ryan, obviously Deadpool says you never did. Ryan was in Blade 3, which Wesley Snipes is not a fan of. The long running joke for 20 years is that Wesley Snipes hates Ryan Reynolds. They cleared the air. That's not the case. Wesley hated the way the movie was going for other reasons. He did put out a statement actually too about just not understanding Ryan's process at the time, but that he was excited to do this. So basically what happened was Ryan hit him up. He was like, Ryan Reynolds calls me, and, I hadn't talked to the man in like 20 years since, but when Ryan Reynolds calls you, you pick up, see what it's about. And he was like, basically, hey, Wesley, got this idea. If you're in, we're in. And he was like, he never thought it was going to happen. Basically, he was like, yeah, I said yes because I never thought that this would actually happen. He says, I'm going to say yes. It's never going to happen anyways. And he was like, if you can make it happen, I'm in. Thinking it would never happen. Well, then Ryan was like,
does these personally, and he texts his friends and he calls his friend. I love that. They're not like doing it through their agents.
Exactly. But then he's basically like, hey, I got the go ahead. If you're in, we're in. And he was like, oh shit. So that's how we got to come back as Blade, which is awesome. And Wesley Snipes actually sets the record for the longest played Marvel character now, and the biggest gap between playing the same Marvel character, because the last Blade film was like 2003 with Blade Trinity. Because the first Blade was like 97. We had the second Blade, third Blade. No one remembers the third Blade. The first two are the better
movies.
ones.
Like, that's a solid commitment to a role. And he is the true Marvel Jesus because he saved Marvel. They were on the brink of bankruptcy, and the Blade movies literally
it made like $126 million, and it saved Marvel.
We should do a Blade trilogy episode. I haven't watched those movies in years.
God dang it, I am in. Oh man, the scene just kick off Blade 1 with the blood showers and the music and the and Blaze is killing. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in.
Very, very 90s.
Son of a bitch, I'm in. And then last but not least, Blade actually makes a comment about there's only ever going to be one Blade. And a fun thing is, Ryan stares at the camera. Marshala Ali has been cast as the next Blade. We don't know what's happening. They actually apparently at D23, the lineup has taken Blade out of the 2025 lineup. So I guess we'll find out next.
When you Google we talk about it next week. It says November 25. We do hear him at the end of Eternal.
Yes, we do. I do have one more bit about Blade, because the rocket launcher he uses, what he mentions, is Punishers. Not only was his Punishers, but it was the rest in peace Ray Stevenson version of the Punisher from, I think it was 2008 when Punisher Warzone. He's the only one to have used a rocket launcher out of the Punishers that we have: John Bernthal, Thomas Jane, and Ray Stevenson. So this was specifically Ray Stevenson's Punisher's rocket launcher.
Oh,
fun. Yeah. Shout out to Ray, man. I missed. Phenomenal actor. Sucks that he has passed away so young, but yeah. Fun little callback.
So Laura, the glasses are the ones from Logan, and I'm sure everybody picked up on that. She is Laura from Logan, same universe. So she is in her proper timeline now, which is very interesting, but I guess she is now in the past in her timeline.
Yeah. Did you know too that they aren't the original glasses, obviously, because she put the original ones on and they were too small.
They're probably too tiny.
They custom created the same glasses, just bigger for her face. I thought it was a fun.
Because when she put them on, I was like, I'm surprised those still fit. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The actress Daphne. Well, I do wonder though. It's like, does she have any idea what Deadpool did to Logan's corpse that she personally buried and put the cross down to the X? But who knows? So the actress Daphne Keane said she had to tell Channing Tatum to stop saying his lines when she had scenes because she couldn't stop laughing at him whenever he used that accent.
Woo, about to make a name for myself. Names.
Josh hated him. Josh was talking shit about him this afternoon.
Dude, did Josh he saw it twice now, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't like it. See, me,
I doesn't know him in the comics at all.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
To him, and I saw people comparing it to.
I fell in love, man.
What's the movie where he pretends he's in high school? I am Jeff.
22 Jump Street. My name is Jeff. That's Hefe Holmes. Yes. Okay, but like the fact that we never got the 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover movie is such a crime against humanity, because the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies are some of the better comedies ever been made in existence. They are so good. Channing Tatum is such a good humor actor. I will die on that.
They are really good, but why do we need a Men in Black crossover? Is that what you said?
That was the big thing. They were going to do a Men in Black 22 Jump Street. Why? I don't know, because it would have been so fucking awesome. That's why. Yeah, but it would have been awesome. Think about it, man. My name is Jeff.
I'm going to have to give that a thought. I guess. I don't know. All right.
Yeah. Well.
So tell us about Gambit.
Now, you know how long I've been waiting for this. That's because actually Gambit, Channing Tatum was attached to Gambit as a passion project. He found out about Gambit. He also kind of grew up in the bayou of Louisiana as well. That's legitimately a Cajun accent. I've seen Cajun people being like, no, that he did a really great job with the accent.
I've heard people say that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just in production hell. He was actually supposed to be like the first spinoff, and it just became production hell. And so he actually met Ryan at San Diego Comic-Con. It was like 10 years ago or something, and they took a picture together. He had his Gambit shirt on, everything with Ryan when Deadpool 1 first released. And Ryan actually related to this, as Deadpool also took forever to happen, and he himself has kind of admitted to leaking the test footage so that people want to see, Deadpool come out. And
I love that he's like admitted that without admitting it.
It's like the biggest open known secret at this point now, right? So of course, he leaked it, and then they did take a picture because they brought Channing Tatum out at the surprise screening this year, which is really cool. And he's got the shirt on, and it's so cool. I've watched behind the scenes fight practices of Channing Tatum practicing as Gambit's fight, and he's legitimately doing it. Ryan says he wants more Channing Tatum as Gambit. I want more Channing Tatum as Gambit. I would love to see him in Secret Wars or something as well. Please, I'm on board. I'm sold. It took me 2 viewings to be sold. I'm in.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't come back. All right, next, the Deadpool core. So the cowboy was voiced by Matthew McConaughey. It was going to be just Ryan's voice, and he said, unless we can get someone like Matthew, I'll just voice it. And Matthew. Lady Pool is voiced by Blake Lively, Ryan's wife. IMDb says that's only the voice. I could not find anything if it was her in the suit or not. I thought that it was, but I don't know.
I thought it was, but honestly, I'm not sure either, actually. I'm pretty sure it was because his kids were actually in the suits for their respective things, too.
Well, the one kid was. So, going to Lady Pool real quick before we go into Kid Pool. So Rob Liefeld created Deadpool, and he also created Lady Pool. And he actually based her on Blake Lively because he was a fan of Gossip Girl at the time when he was creating her. Him and his wife were both big fans. And this was actually before she was even with Ryan. So that's actually kind of funny that Deadpool and Lady Pool ended up married. That's funny. Speaking of Liefeld, obviously we've talked about this, the Just Feet. You see that in the background.
Yeah.
When Madonna starts playing, that is a nod to Rob Liefeld not being able to draw feet well. So Kid Pool. So Ryan Reynolds said this was the only co-star he argued with. It's his daughter Inez. A lot of people are posting that the baby and Kid Pool are like when Ryan got his star. That was years ago. Like the baby.
That was so long ago. Come on, man. That's wild.
I keep seeing people. They have 4 children now. They do not have 2.
They have a lot of kids. Okay.
Yeah. So Kid Pool is their second one. So it's actually the baby in that photo. She was actually in the costume, and he says the line. She's the one that says the line about, why don't you take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth? I was like, did you really have this kid say this? Holy shit. She's 7. Their other kid they have that is 4 was credited as Hugh Jackman's Wrangler. So it wasn't actually in the movie, but they credited her. Baby Pool was voiced by their 1-year-old Olin, but he's not actually in the suit. It's CGI.
Right.
You can tell. And then their oldest, who's 9, James, is credited as, quote, screaming mutant, but I am not quite sure who that is.
I didn't hear that. I guess I got to watch it a 3rd, 4th, 5th time, right? I didn't actually hear that at the time either.
I don't know if it's real or if they just were like, okay, 2 of our kids are in it. Maybe one of the kids didn't want to be in it, or I don't know. But right. There it is. So Canada Pool was played by Alex. Looks like some sort of Russian name.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either.
He's actually the fight coordinator in this movie, The Adam Project, Days of Future Past, and a lot of other movies. Welsh Pool was played by Paul Mullen, who is actually on the soccer team that Ryan owns, Wrexham. Head Pool, just the head, was voiced by Nathan Fillion, who is also in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and various other projects. We all know who he is. We also have Dog Pool. We did Comic Origin on this recently. Him is actually a she named Peggy, who won the ugliest dog contest in the UK.
Dog is so beautiful.
Real tongue. That tongue is completely real and not CGI. There is an outtake where Ryan breaks while the dog's actual tongue is in his mouth. Tom Holland's brother, Harry Holland, was one of these.
Yes.
Nice Pool is played by Gordon Reynolds. This is Ryan's fake twin brother. I couldn't find anything.
That he makes it. That's like he made that joke up a long time ago, I think, and he's just like stuck with it.
Right. And you know what? He gave the guy a part. Nice Pool is not in the comics. I did see if that was a thing, but it's not.
He died for murder, you fuckhead.
So good, too. During the Deadpool Corp scene, we do get a Stan Lee cameo. During that on the bus, it says Stan Lee, spelled like Stanley Steamer.
Yes.
Which is so funny. And there's Stan Lee. Marvel said in the past they were going to stop doing these, but I absolutely love that they did this.
Keep it going, man.
Keep them alive, man.
Keep it going.
Tell me about Hugh's abs.
You want to talk about Hugh's abs for a minute? I'm going to teach you about Hugh's abs for a second. Those delicious hairy abs of his that are soaked in sweat as his suit bursts off him as the antimatter hits them both and they hold hands so romantically. Hugh's abs
They're holding hands very gruffly though. They have
they are
lock it on like they're like no homo holding hands.
Oh God, do we say that still?
I hope not.
Yeah. So, they're not CGI abs, they're real abs, okay? They're actual. He was super skinny because he was doing Broadway when he signed up for the film. So he instantly started eating a lot more, probably doing some trend, hitting the gym, becoming Wolverine again. #, and who knows what other that Marvel diet had going on. And during one of his musical plays, the Music Man, he actually ripped his pants. Oh, speaking of, you forgot one specific. Do you realize who you forgot? There was another part of the Deadpool Corps. They were dressed up like the Greatest Showman. In the
what did I don't?
Yeah,
think I saw
you
that.
missed that one. Yeah, one of the Deadpools is in the Greatest Showman jacket and hat. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you missed that one actually. It just came to my mind while we were talking about The Greatest Showman. So
Oh,
one of the
that's
things he
funny.
does before his shirtless scene, do not do this at home because it is not safe. You're
No,
probably
it
going to be on the
sounds
verge of
terrible.
kidney failure. He extra hydrates and then obviously dehydrates day of. That's what a lot of bodybuilders do to like accentuate their muscles for competitions. Not safe, dude. Not safe. Do not do it unless you have the best Marvel people watching over you, right? This makes his abs pop more because you have a layer of water above your stomach and it gives you bad headache. He's 55. Please let Hugh keep the suit on until he's 90. This poor man cannot be 75 dehydrating himself.
See,
He will
wants to
die
do it,
on
though.
set.
He wants to be. It's so funny because we actually, before we started recording tonight, during dinner, we started watching. Brielle really wants to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'm like, for one, Deadpool and Wolverine, I don't think it's too bad. There are some lines that are a little whatever, but I mean, she hears F-bombs and stuff all the time. The one I have an issue with is the first Deadpool, but I'm like, I'm not even gonna have this conversation with you because you haven't watched all the movies. So she watched the first X-Men today, and it's so funny because Josh is like, Hugh Jackman looks so little because he was, 31. And like, he's not, I mean, he's still like, he looks good.
He's beefy, but he's not like Hollywood has set unrealistic expectations for men. Thanks, Hugh Jackman.
Well, right. I feel like, he said
thanks for nothing, Hugh.
But he got cast pretty quick before filming because they had cast somebody else and then he ended up getting the role. And so he didn't have time to quote unquote become
Well, he
Wolverine.
was working out while filming, so you can actually see his body does change a lot during the movie if you notice.
Yeah, but
because he's working out during it. Yeah.
But if you look at I feel like the Wolverine, he was super jacked.
Oh, he was beefcake. He was Henry Cavill.
Yeah, so I feel like he got more into the role of Wolverine and wanted to become more naturally Wolverine over the years.
Well, yeah.
All right, that's fun. Greatest Showman. Okay, so B15, if you did not watch Loki, this was a woman from the TVA who yelled at Paradox. She is a very important person in Loki, I do hope we see more of her throughout the universe.
Oh, yeah, we definitely will be, hopefully.
If you're not huge on the Disney Plus shows, I do think that Loki is worth watching because I do think it's going to be very relevant again. So B15 toward the end tells Deadpool that she's going to show him something huge, and Deadpool responds with, "That's what Scoutmaster Kevin used to say."
Oh, no.
This is a nod to Deadpool 2. This is one of the specific things Scott mentioned, so I had to pull this in. So in Deadpool 2, toward the beginning, right when he's like, "Hit it, Dolly," and they're working 9 to 5. When he's fighting everyone, he gets blood in his eyes, and he uses some guy's loincloth at like that spot to wipe the blood out. And he looks at his crotch and goes, "Scoutmaster Kevin?" So that was, call back to that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, toward the end of the film, obviously at the end, Deadpool was like, shawarma, and Wolverine was like, I could eat. And they go and get shawarma. Obviously, this is a nod to the ending of the first Avengers film. And the Avengers actually invented shawarma. Fun fact.
Right. Shawarma's delicious too. If you haven't tried shawarma,
I love shawarma.
They even sell it at Disneyland.
Do they really? Yeah, it's man.
They have a shawarma booth.
When I would deploy, like that used to be like my thing, my cheat meal on they have a shawarma shop on the base, depending where you go. And so I would get it. I've had like authentic shawarma down in the middle of some of the cities out there in the Middle East. Great stuff. I wonder
what Marvel has done for shawarma stores in general.
Shawarma's delicious.
It is delicious, but I feel like a lot of people didn't even know what it was before Avengers. Okay, so Hugh and Ryan are now actually promoting Blake Lively's movie that just came out. It Ends With Us. There is a clip, again, this is on Ryan's Instagram, where Ryan steps in to interview her love interest in the movie. Then Ryan's mom shows up to conduct an interview with him. And then Hugh Jackman shows up to conduct an interview with him. It is quite hilarious. It's probably like a 4-minute long video, but it is hilarious. He's like, "What are your intentions with my best friend's wife?" It's fantastic.
That's amazing.
So Ryan should really start a marketing company. Did you see the clip of what? Does he have a marketing company?
Actually, this actually comes in the Aviation Gin. Actually, no, I haven't seen the clip of Nick Cannon promoting Aviation Gin, but I was just gonna say that like he probably does. I think he has some sort of company within Hollywood. It's not marketing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's involved in a lot of the marketing.
His marketing genius
that he's involved with. Yeah.
So for the Aviation Gin, Nick Cannon was making a drink, and I guess he called it like a vasectomy. And Ryan Reynolds comes in, he's like, "I need that. I have 4 kids." And he goes to take a swig, and Nick Cannon goes, "I have 9." And Ryan Reynolds spits his drink out everywhere.
God. Well, now, last but certainly not least, man, we got to shout out the soundtrack to this film. Madonna's not on it because Like a Prayer will be her. What?
It'll be on her upcoming anniversary.
Madonna not on it because Like a Prayer will be on her upcoming anniversary album.
which is stupid, I think, because she could have had this song on a album that a whole new generation was going to buy. I mean, maybe that generation will then go and want to buy her anniversary album. I doubt it, but you know, whatever.
Actually,
I've already seen so many
Madonna
people
has been
videos of the record with Deadpool and Wolverine.
I've heard Madonna's, well, seen and heard and everything. Madonna's kind of senile in her age, but The Greatest Showman is also on there. So Hugh is singing in the film. Side fun fact, Ryan Reynolds once came home to his kids watching the movie, which is not uncommon, but Hugh himself was acting out the scenes next to the TV and singing with Ryan's kids.
Adorable.
That's so heartwarming. The fact of friendship is so, it's so,
I feel like
so
it's
heartwarming.
It's like supernatural too, that like that show went on for so long because they genuinely liked each other. And I really do think that must make a difference. Like Hugh Jackman said this was like the most fun he's ever had playing Wolverine or like doing a movie.
You could
So,
tell
like,
too.
why wouldn't you want to keep making them? And they were so, I mean, God, I can't even imagine how much money they're making right now too.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's why this podcast will actually be ending with this episode. You thought we were Sam and Dean, but it turns out Lauren just has not felt the same.
After 10 days on vacation together.
We spent time locked on a boat playing trivia, and now she can't stand the sight of me.
It's over, kids. We had a good run.
We had a great run, but there's so many other callbacks and Easter eggs. I don't know, Scott, to answer your why was he doing the Spider-Man in the car? I think that was a callback to because he was called Spider-Man. You know, there was the confusion of Spider-Man.
Well, also Spider-Man's like his, or maybe it was foreshadowing. But
Maybe.
Spider-Man and Deadpool are very close in the comic.
Yeah.
So I feel like it could just be a nod to that and just trying to tie more things together. And you know, Deadpool's like a little kid. It's like my kid will do the dumbest shit in the world while he's like, we were at the middle school meet the teacher today, and Logan's like hopping over things and doing things and just acting a
parkour.
fool. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny because he does that all the time. And like he doesn't know that's from The Office.
Oh
like,
yeah,
parkour, and he jumps off shit.
But you're right. Like I think that was also that's what it was. He was just acting stupid because that Honda Odyssey fucks, man. But that's what we have. So please, by all means, write in hopsgeeknews@gmail.com. Let us know what we missed. Some of your favorites, obviously. Please do so we can talk about
not to repeat things, but I'm sure we repeated.
We might have. I think this is our last episode on Deadpool and Wolverine
for now.
The people out there like, my God, you've been on Deadpool since June. Jesus, bring us back Star Wars month, comic book. Please interview somebody. Speaking of which, you guys should all check out the comic book series Armored by our friend Michael Schwartz. That's a really good comic book, man. You know, it's got some Iron Man influences. It's got some Halloween spooky stuff. If you're also looking for like a cool spooky vibe, this kid moves into a town, goes and visits this castle, finds a pendant or some sort, and it encapsulates him in a suit of armor where he can fight demons and ghosts and stuff. And it's very well done. Again, Michael Schwartz is the writer. You can find it first 2 issues in comic book stores now. Go check that one out, man. Shout out to him. He's become a really good friend of the show, and I really want to see this comic book do well because it's a really great comic if you haven't read it yet. Aside from that, man, if you have an idea of an episode, always let us know. Subscribe to our Patreon where we do movie nights once a month. We didn't do one necessarily in July. We're looking at it. Tenacious D is going to be our next one in the Pick of Destiny. And yeah, I got nothing else, Lauren. Anything to add? Are you about to make a name for yourself?
I'm about to make a name. Yeah. We don't know what we're doing next week yet, but we're very close to doing Beetlejuice, Penguin Comic Origin, Agatha Comic Origin, and right into spooky season next month. So
it's upon us. Pumpkin spice, the only thing standing between me and suicide. Can't wait. We will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out. This has been your Deadpool and Wolverine month and a half. Cheers, everybody.
The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, check out nerdinitiative.com. The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, be sure to check out nerdinitiative.com.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're all set for the party. I've trimmed the tree, hung the mistletoe, and paired all those weird-shaped knives and forks with the appropriate cheeses. And I plugged in the Bartesian.
Bartesian?
It's a home cocktail maker that makes over 60 premium cocktails, plus a whole lot of seasonal favorites, too. I just got it for $50 off. So, how about a Cosmopolitan or a mistletoe margarita?
I'm thirsty.
Watch. I just pop in a capsule, choose my strength, and...
Wow, it's beginning to feel more seasonal in here already.
If your holiday party doesn't have a bartender, then you become the bartender. Unless you've got a Bartesian, because Bartesian crafts every cocktail perfectly in as little as 30 seconds. And I just got it for $50 off.
'Tis the season to be jollier.
Add some holiday flavor to every celebration with the sleek, sophisticated home cocktail maker, Bartesian. Get $50 off any cocktail maker at bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.